Hey, welcome back to the show. Got a lot to talk about, so I'm listening to a little bit of Choke Bore. One word, Choke Bore. Great band, hard to find. Look them up. Anyway, I did a picture. I put a picture up on my page and had you guys pick up some things, hopefully. Some simple stuff. If not, if you didn't see the picture, then go get all this stuff and come back. But apple barrel, little bottles. We got red, yellow, blue, a little black, and I had you get a big white, 8-ounce bottle of white. The 25 pack of brushes, a variety pack, 3 pack of canvas panels, just like this. Actually, I've got another painting here. I'm going to get to that. This is something that I use to paint on. And painter's tape, which you should have all that stuff. It's like 12, 13 bucks at Walmart for all of that crap. But okay, so find something sturdy to paint on, like this. Like I've got an old painting that I did on a bigger canvas panel, and these work great. I use them all the time to paint stuff on, as you can see. Here's what the painter's tape's for. Roll it up into little circles and stick it on here, or stick it on the back of the canvas panel, which I've already got this one ready to go. And go ahead and open up the canvas panel. So take one of those. You can roll up the tape and put it right here on the corners, or have it on here like I do. Just put that on there. Give it a good press right where the tape is so it gets a good bond. And this just is something that I kind of picked up through experimenting with smaller size canvas panels and stuff. I'm going to go put these away. Save those for some other time. And this is just a great way to, you can either have it on your easel and you can be painting away, and if you wanted to flip it and go from a different angle, you would have to, otherwise you'd have to grab it, get paint on your hands, possibly mess up your painting. With this, you don't really have to. If you wanted to flip it, you just grab it and flip it. You're ready to go from a different angle. Let me touch on these brushes a little bit. You got the 25 pack of brushes, and they're for different things. Let me tell you what they're for mainly. You have a few yellow brushes, which what I'm gathering, they're trying to imply that these yellow ones are like multi-purpose, or which makes sense. This is like some kind of Taclon or polyester, or even, I think, I'm not sure, but synthetic material by Plaid. But these yellow handled ones are really multi-purpose. You can use them for just about any medium, basically. Acrylic, oil, watercolor, all that good stuff. Glazes even for pottery. Now these, it seems to me like they're the golden Taclon, the yellowish color brushes all have these blue handles. I think they're trying to just say that all the blue handles are for acrylic, but I know that these horsehair or coarse brushes are mainly for oil paints. These work great with oil, and I mean you can use them to some effect for acrylic and stuff too, but acrylic tends to stick to them real easy, and it ages the brush a lot faster. So probably just keep all these aside for when you get to oil paint, or when we get to oil paint, maybe one of these days. Which leaves us with these. I don't know why they did these two green, but all these like natural, like horsehair type brushes are meant for watercolors. So we're not going to mess with those either. In fact, all we're going to use is one brush out of this whole thing. You basically just spent $2.50 or $3 or however much. Well, $5 are they? But just grab the biggest one, the big blue golden Taclon, like synthetic material. It says 1 inch here, and this is the brush that I use pretty much all the time. Like it's definitely my go-to. I've run through plenty of them throughout the years. Now, an egg crate. I use these little egg crates. I usually cut them in half or whatever, and they're just real handy. They're perfect in your hand, and they've got a good lip to get the brush prepared, and they hold several colors at once, so they're great to use. But I've always got them around. I've got tons of them all over the place. But let me show you real quick how I get to that. Just take a empty carton of eggs. And one thing I was thinking too, and I wanted to mention, was you can see, if you look on the side, most of the time there's a few holes, little holes poked into some of these cups to let the little baby chickens breathe, I guess. But, or just, you know, keep the eggs fresh or whatever. But you want to keep that in mind if you're going to use these for your paints. Just grab a pair of scissors and cut them right up. But yeah, I'm out here in my studio, and I've got painting clothes on, more or less, stuff that's already been stained or ruined otherwise. So get dressed for getting dirty, and then you can use these out where it doesn't matter if it leaks onto something, is what I'm getting at. Okay, so I usually cut them even more because I'm not going to work with 12 colors right now. We're only going to work with a handful of colors. Okay, so there's a fresh one, ready to go. And remember, ooh, good reflexes. Remember, there's little holes in here too, and you might be able to just pinch them or something and close them up pretty good, actually, if you can spot them. Maybe, I mean, there's certain ones that don't have, like this one doesn't have any, so I don't have to worry about that one, and this one too. So you just don't want your paint to leak right through. On the first one, after you use them once, basically it dries up and it seals those holes usually. So then that's when you start to get a lot of weight behind them. These are all pretty heavy. They've got a lot of dried layers going for them. Okay, now why I had you get these colors, a few people probably already know. It's pretty obvious. You got black and white. Black is just, you know, a go-to. I use it a lot for definition and stuff. Like, here's one I did the other day, and I just got the black lines. I just used right out of the bottle and dripped black all over the place, and that's just kind of a signature thing, I guess, more or less, that I do. But it really helps color to stand out too, especially if you have some white in there for contrast. But red, yellow, blue, these are the primary colors. So we're gonna do a painting here real quick. I got a lot to do. I gotta go to bed. It's late. I gotta work in the morning. But anyway, you got your primary colors. So I was thinking I wanted to do a painting that had red, blue, and purple. So yellow's out of the deal for now. You can hang on to that for later. Oh, and one more thing too, right? Why I had you do all these colors, so you would use minimum color for now, or when you're using these, you want to dump a little bit out. You can always put more later, because if you dump more, or too much rather, you tend to waste it, or it just sits and it dries and you get one of these filled up real fast, you know, because you left it sit and stuff. Which, I mean, paint is kind of cheap, but it's not too cheap, so you want to just dump a little bit out at a time. And why I got you to get a big bottle of white is because when you run through these 3 canvas panels, if you find something else, like say that something like this somewhere, now you have white, you can prime that up. It'll take a couple coats usually, especially if you have dark colors like this on something. You'll have to coat it a few times, which is why I had you get the big bottle of white, so you'll be ready to keep painting after you use up your canvas panels. If you have a means to recycle something else, then you'd be good to go. Oh yeah, the yellow. Okay, so with these 3 bottles, you can get any hue or any color that you're looking for. With red and yellow making orange, red and blue making purple, and yellow and blue make green, like the Ziploc baggies. So, like I said, we're not going to use yellow though. We're going for a blue. I had a few colors in my head tonight, so we're going to do something like that real quick. Red, blue, and violet, or purple, which you can get from mixing these 2. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll take a little bit. You may have to take the plastic off of them. Some of them are sealed inside. But you just want to take red and start out with just a little bit. In fact, we're not going to need much violet. Red and blue is going to be the main part. So try, equal parts at first and see how that goes for you. Oh yeah, another thing too that I've got in my setup here is a glass or any old cup or whatever with water. I actually like to use two so you can rinse them out in stages as one starts to get dirty. I usually just take the brush and mix with the bottom of it, so just dig it around a little bit, which I can see already this is a very, very dark purple that we've got going on with an even 50-50 mixture of the blue and the red. So I'm going to actually drop a little bit, just like one drop of white, which that one's sealed up. I've got one here somewhere. It's ready to go. But again, white goes a long way, so I just want to put one little drip in there and see if that lightens up the value for us, which you can see it. Yeah, it goes a little way. Maybe one more. Drop of white. It's a bubble. There we go. And again, once you get this color on your painting, it's going to be a little different than what you see in the cup. And some paint even dries quite a bit differently. So just rinse it off. Wipe it. Oh yeah, I got a little shop rag I always keep handy to wipe the brushes clean with and everything. Okay, so we've got our violet color going. We need a little bit of red in another cup. A little bit of blue in the other. And remember, not too much. You can always add more later if you need it, especially without the colors that you mixed. But take your big brush. I get it a little wet always. Set that down, and I just dipped it in the water. And you want to, I basically just try to smash all the water out of it into the cloth, because you want to moisten it. So when you get paint all over it, it's going to be a little easier to get all that paint off of it if the bristles are wet when you start, I find. And it makes your brush last longer in the end. Alright, what I wanted to do, actually take a little bit of white to start out with, and I'm just going to dump some right on this brush. Actually, as much as it can hold on one side. And we're going to take that and go basically find the middle and drop it down to an inch or two, and we're going to try to put a big broad line right there. You won't be able to see it, but we know it's there. Just kind of go down towards the bottom with it. And just get it all on there as good as you can, smoothed out. And if you can look in the light, you can see exactly where you have gotten it already and where you haven't. This is actually a Bob Ross technique, but he usually does acrylic. Okay, now we're going to rinse the brush out real quick. And he usually works with oil, which gives you a lot more time to play with it as far as it drying and stuff like that. Again, smash all that water out of it. It's good to go. Maybe open it back up a little bit. Okay, now acrylic dries really, really fast, so we got to move. Now the reason I put that white there is so hopefully we start with this red from the bottom, and when we work it up, it's going to turn into pink for us. So just dump the red right on the bottom, as dark and thick as you can towards the bottom. See, I'm already picking up some of that white left over, and then just slowly start moving it up into that white. And there goes the color change right there from red to pink. And just keep it back and forth as smooth as you can. Any lines or dark spots that stick out, you want to try to go over them again as fast as possible to smooth everything out. See, the dark keeps coming back, just keep going over it and blend while it's still wet. because acrylic dries super fast. So just work it up slowly after you work all the paint off the brush, and you try to get a gradation from pink to white. Maybe a few lines here and there coming back out like that is okay every once in a while, especially this is just a background, so that's kind of what we're going for actually, is a little random feel to it. Okay, now once you're done with your moving up, you can maybe think about going back. I want to take all this extra paint off of here and start right here where it just started blending and go back down and bring some of that lighter value back into the dark and just blend it a little further even. Now this bottle of paint has been open for a while. Okay, and there's some pieces of dried up acrylic paint floating around in here. You use the corner of your brush and just grab it up like that, scoop it, and then just put it onto something, and I can see it right there, it came off. There's a few little ones, you guys probably can't see them, but I can. And I just want to get those out of there, because they're not smooth like the rest of the painting is. But you got to work quick again, because this stuff dries really fast. Okay, so I got those out of there, and then just go back over it again just like you were, and they're gone. Boom. Alright, so there's our background. Now, I'm going to drip some red and blue onto it, but we can't drip the purple because we had to mix it ourselves. I mean, you could get creative and figure out a way to drip it, or they actually make little bottles too that you can buy that you put your pre-mixed colors into them and you can squirt them out. But we don't have that. We're just going to take this and use that violet color that we made ourselves and dip it in there, flex the tips of the brush a little bit back and forth, and then take it and run all the excess paint off like this onto the edge. Okay, now I'm going to go for a drip-like look for it. So I'm just going to spin the brush. It's nice and square and it comes to a sharp tip how it is. So I'm just going to try to put it on there and then spin it. And you want to get to a good angle to where you can do that comfortably too. And actually I'm going to start up here where it's just nice and blank. Put it down, put a little pressure on it so it kind of stays still at least for a little bit, and just spin into a circle. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, and that's actually good that it's not perfect, because that's not what we're going for. Again, you want to bend the brush a little bit with it and spin it, spin it, spin it. If it doesn't work, go back and do it over again, and eventually you get a little bit of a rounded circle going on, hopefully. I just want to put a few of these around because it's another color in there. And maybe, especially if you get to another color after it, reload it with fresh paint. It's not dulled down by that other color, and try again. And I'm just moving sporadically around this thing. That's the beauty of painting. There's no rules. That's what I love so much about it myself. Is that there aren't any rules, and anybody that tells you that there are rules is probably not as smart as they come off. Because this is true freedom. But let's say there's some guidelines. There's some things that'll help you do a better painting, no matter what you're painting. And they're not necessarily rules. They're just the way that the human brain works and the way that eyes work. You want to lead people. You want to really keep them in a painting. So you tend to not want to have too much action going on in the outer part of your painting, like out here, out here, out here. But your focal point wants to be one of, like, a picture a square right in the middle of it, and you want there, here, or here to be your main focal point. So you want to do things that kind of draw the action to those spots and keep it there, hopefully. So again, I was saying I was just moving around kind of randomly and loose, and this is just kind of a background color. Anyway, we're going to drip the red and blue over this, and it's really going to make it you'll see the contrast a lot more with the bold colors right next to each other. A few more little discs real quick, just little spins. And again, you don't usually want to go to all the way to the edge with something, but with the drip technique especially, you do sometimes. You want to just make it uniform to where it looks like that pattern and what's going on the canvas continues on past the canvas and makes people have to use their imagination a little bit. And that's why sometimes I just tend to go towards the drip stuff, because it's not, because it does make people have to think a little for themselves, and it's not so much about what you're trying to say as what they're trying to hear, if that makes any sense. Alright, so yeah, 5 is good, just a little bit, and I take my brush and actually push it once it hits the bottom and push it down and spin it a couple of times, and that gets the water in between the brush really good and gets a lot of that pigment and paint out of there. Spin it, and I get the extra water off at the top. And smash it with the brush. And this you can see if you got a lot of paint left in the brush too, or if you really got a good rinse out of it. So if you're going to a different color, especially a pale color, you really want to try to get a lot of that pigment out of there. But we're actually done with this brush for now. What I did after that was lay this painting down. Actually, here you can see how it turned out, if you can get a pretty good view of it. And there's pictures on my art page too on Facebook, The Artistic Endeavors of Jason J. Shumbera. But what I did was lay this painting down now, flat, just like this on something. And then you want to take, actually I can give you a quick demonstration of what I did with something like this. You want to take the colors, and since we had red at the bottom, that's what I started with, and I started dripping down here low and worked my way up a little bit. You don't want to go to the ends, like I was saying. You want your focal point to be somewhere in here. So what I did when I drip is take the bottle and shake all the paint down so it's at the bottom, and you want to move it around sporadically. I'll actually show you. When one drips out, eventually there, you want to move your hand, drip another one, move your hand, let it drip, move, move. Every time one hits the canvas, you want to move to another area where you want it to be, basically. I don't want to waste much paint, but you get the gist, and that's what I did with that, is took the red and the blue. We had the violet that we had mixed, so I put a few drops of the violet here and there, just to have another color. Then we took the red and the blue, and I actually used the white too. You can see I dripped a lot of white too. So this is just an idea of a abstract painting technique that I find really fun. Get this out of here before I get that paint all over everything. This is basically all I've got for you this week. I was going to do some Guitar 101 too, but I think I'll save that for another episode. For those of you interested in maybe picking up your old dusty guitar somewhere that you've got in a closet that you got from your uncle, that's how I got started. Actually, I got my first guitar given to me, and I messed around with it for a little bit. I was really young. I was like 12, but my uncle Jeff actually gave me his old electric guitar, and I played around with it for a while, and then I ended up smashing it because I just sucked at it. I wasn't any good because I had never played. But I'm gonna teach too. I'm gonna get to guitar. But anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked. This is a really cool technique to do, really simple too. And I wanted to touch a little bit on not primary colors, but complementary colors. Pick your favorite color, and you know, it has a complementary. Whether it's, if you pick red, your complementary color is going to be green. If you pick blue, your complementary color is going to be orange. And if you pick yellow, your complementary color is going to be purple or violet. And that's a good way to do it. So pick your favorite color, whichever favorite color you have. My favorite color is green, so I do green and red sometimes, like you can see here. I put green and red together because of the complementaries, and we got yellow and violet next to each other because it makes them really sharp and it makes it look cool. So pick your favorite colors and then pick another color, you know, like if I was going to do blue and orange, I would say like red too. Makes it look really cool together. Or, you know, keep it simple, pick a few colors to work with and go at it. And this is a really fun technique. Look at my other videos too on my other channel, on my other YouTube channel, the Greenness 43 channel. I do a video where I show you this drip technique too. Or actually, this one was on episode 2, I believe, the end of episode 2. I show you how to do this one. And right out of the bottle, drip from the top and let it run down. And then when it runs off, you put it on the lip of the canvas, so on the easel. So when it drips down, you put another painting underneath it, which is what I did with this. So I had this laying flat, and then I had this above it, dripping onto it. And I just kept moving it a little bit. Every time it would get a drip somewhere, I would move it so it would drip somewhere else. And let it drip, and let it drip, and then let it dry. And you're good to go. So that's another idea to do. Another painting that you can do really easy with this stuff that I got you to pick up. Another little technique that I've been trying out and getting familiar with is a one-line drawing type of deal where I actually use black. This actually isn't the flat black like I had you guys get. I would prefer black gloss. But I do a one-line drawing on a canvas, and this is one of a series that I did called Tangled Up. But I do the one-line drawing, try to stay away from the border a little bit, leave yourself a little bit of breathing room, then pick a color, and a lighter color usually, not super light like this baby blue, but a mid-tone. So I've got dark, mid, and light. So I pick the mid-tone and put it on the outskirts usually. And pick a few here and there pieces in the middle too to bring that color into the middle, but sporadically. You want to jump around and leave yourself some room. But like I said, that's one from a set that I did of all the different colors. Here's one that I did last night, which actually Friday night I stayed up all night because it's been a rough week at work, and I don't get much painting done sometimes throughout the week, and I really like painting, so I have to make time to do it when I can. And Friday night I ended up doing this one. Same technique, I just take the black line and run it. I start somewhere, I don't remember exactly where I started this one, but I start doing a line and I keep that same line. This is all just one line, and then it ends on itself even, so it's one like big continuous thing. And like I said, pick a color and do the outside. This one I actually halved it. I actually took a yardstick and measured and everything too. Right, I'm sorry. Right in the middle, I cut it in half. I did blue on the top, I did violet on the bottom. Then took that blue and dropped it down here a little bit, here and there. Took this violet and threw it up here. So it's kind of offset. And then I picked their complementaries. With the blue, I have the orange next to a lot of places where there's blue, so make it really pop out. And the violet and the yellow I put next to each other. So that explains why I picked these colors. I got two shades of orange here just to make it a little bit different. And I think this one came out really good, but this is another thing that you might want to try on one of these. Just take your black, and you really want to get those lines, you really want to dip it in the black really good and press it down and get both sides of the brush covered. And then pull a lot of that paint off as much as you can onto the edges like that, and it makes your brush come to a real chiseled point, which is a flat line. And that's how you want to do the line, is with that flat surface, and you want to twist the brush to move with that line to keep the line straight as you're making it go all over the place. And with a small canvas like this, you won't have too many loops or anything, but you'll be able to get something pretty cool. So just draw a big black line, let that dry a little bit, and then start filling in the holes with different colors, and it comes out to be pretty interesting, a pretty cool little effect. I've got a few of them here that I've done that all came out really well. I think. And it's fun. It's like a color by number after you get the black line done. So go ahead and give it a shot. And here's one from my own collection, actually. This is going on this weekend. Right when this show goes live tonight, it's Saturday night right now. But tomorrow, Sunday, today, whatever time it is when you watch this, my neighbor and fellow artist, my friend Bobby, which actually I'm wearing his shirt. He's got a new shirt out. I don't know how much you can see here. King B Artworks. And I actually linked up to his page. I commented something on my art page last night, Friday night, about it. And he's doing the Spring Fling down here in St. Cloud. So if you live in the area of St. Cloud and it's Sunday afternoon, you should jump down to the lakefront and see Bobby. I actually traded him a painting that I did. When he did this painting, I remember the night that I saw it, I came home from work and I sat down on the bed. I was really tired. And I opened my MacBook up, and this painting was sitting there, and I said, whoa, and I started staring at it, and I fell in love with it instantly. And I told him, right away, I commented, I'm like, wow, I love this one, it's really cool, it's super deep, like I just fell into it, and kept going and finding more layers that were underneath all of that. It's just really impressive painting that Bobby did, and he's got some great art that's really reasonably priced too. So if you're in the market for some original art, stop down to the lakefront, buy a shirt from him if you want. Buy a painting. He's got little panels too, like way smaller than these. I think he's got 4x4s going for $10. So super cheap art by a really great artist and cool guy, Bobby Hawthorne. Jump over to his page. Here's the link. I'll throw that on here, and check him out. He's really cool. Tell him I sent you. And next week, I am either going to do Guitar 101 or I'm going to have another artist, a painter, a different type of painter on for you. I've got a few people that are hopefully going to come on. I'm waiting on them. So we'll see how it goes. If not, I'll do something for you, whatever. So thanks for watching again. Hit share, hit comment, hit like, and tell me what you like about the show. This is probably my most boring show that I've done so far, but oh well, it's educational. So hopefully you take something away from it, and let me know what you think I should do. Thanks for watching. Here, I'll show you a few, as I roll the credits, I'll show you a few different types of paintings like this that I've done that maybe you can take some inspiration away from. And thanks for watching. See you next week.